I love Kermit. Since the title today is Humor is Healthy, I thought that was a good song to open my talk with. Yes?
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Humor is healthy. To prove this is true, I'm going to open with the greatest philosopher of our time, Miss Piggy of the Muppets. And she said, "I don't care what you think of me unless you think I'm awesome, in which case you're very right." I like that. I love Miss Piggy. And I got this from yesterday's Science of Mind magazine. And you're going to, I'm sure, join Susan later, because she said it earlier, but I'm going to say it also. That Reverend Steph, has written just such great dailies that she goes on to say, "The one mind in me is awesome, and I'm faithful in this knowing." Hear that. The one mind within you is awesome, and it is up to each one of us to be faithful in this knowing. And knowing spirit is moving through me. I praise and celebrate the power and the glory of all people. That's what we need today, isn't it? Including myself, I joyfully know this for everyone, and thriving, successful, and abundant life, equally accessible to everyone I know. I know truth is at the center of life. Let's hear that today. Here's the key. If you're frustrated, you're trying to control life and God. We steal our personal joy when we're stressed out. Anybody being stressed out lately? No, just me. Okay. I have to be reminded that if I'm feeling stressed, or if I'm feeling that angst with life or what's happening in the world, then I have to come back to God, to that infinite wisdom and power within me. Yes, life goes sideways at times, and it seems to be doing that right now. The other day I was at the gas station where, yes, the cost of gas has gone up just quite a bit. And there was a man behind me, and he started to complain. And I said to him, "You know, if we have to pay $5.50 or $6 a gallon, if it frees the people in Ukraine, then I will gladly do it." And I watched him shift and change his mind about being angry about what it was costing him, because he realized that he was free and safe. I watched him change and agree. It's like what somebody very wise before service today said, we don't have to be against anything, but what are we willing to be for? We're always free to say, "God, I don't like this. However, I'm willing to stay in peace. I'm willing to trust that there is a greater truth at work within each one of us, in our lives, and in the life of the world." Hear that. We have a right to say, "God, I don't like this. However, underneath this that I see must be a greater truth, must be something being birthed and born from this." Because you see, humor at this time, to me, is really healthy. And because this is our title this week, ministers on our listserv that I'm part of kept sending out jokes. And some of them were really kind of stupid, but some of them were cute. So there was this one joke about a pastor who, as he looked at his little church building, it was a white building with a steeple similar to ours, he decided that it was looking pretty glim and pretty sad. So he went and bought a gallon of white paint, and he did one side of the church, and he said, "Oh, that looks really good." But he realized that he didn't have enough paint for the other 3 sides. But he decided he didn't want to go back to town and buy another gallon of paint. So he went and he took paint thinner and he put it in the paint that was left, pretty good, and he finished painting the rest of the building. And he stepped back and he looked, he said, "This looks really good. It worked out just fine." However, that night it rained, and it rained really bad, and it rained so hard. And the next morning the pastor got up and he looked, and the one wall that had the original paint was great, and the other 3 walls had been washed clear of the paint. And so the pastor stood there and said, "God, what happened?" And he asked, "What do I do now?" And a voice came back from the heavens and said, "Repaint and thin no more." I like that. Repaint and thin no more. Hallelujah. As only ministers could send out. And this month's Science of Mind magazine, I hope you stay after service and join Susan to discuss this book, because Ernest Holmes had a great section. I'm going to read some of that to you, and she's probably going to read some more later. And it's entitled, "It's Up to You." And we've still got, I think, 3 books back there, don't we? If you want to buy one, that would be great. And this is what Ernest Holmes said with "It's Up to You." Are you, like all the rest of us, carrying a lot into today that you ought to let go of? Anybody? Okay. You don't have to raise your hand. If so, it's up to you to rearrange your thoughts about yesterday so there won't be any fear or hurt carried over in today. Hear that? Rearrange your thoughts. And then he says, it's up to you to look confidently forward to tomorrow so today won't be plagued by the thoughts of what might happen in the future. So we want to clean this idea, these old beliefs. We want to clean our mind daily. There is no way to make today happy other than living as though today would be an endless succession of your heart's desire. Oh, everybody breathe into that. What if we did an endless succession of our heart's desire? And then, as I turn to that, I really like what Reverend Dr. David Alexander said. And his stuff is just great. He says, Dr. Holmes speaks to the power of our mind. He uses a powerful metaphor of cleaning out our house, changing the furniture and moving room by room to ensure it is set to the expectations and desires of our heart. It's a great mental practice that reminds us that we are surrounded by furnishings of our past thinking. I love that idea of walking into the room or walking into our mental thoughts and saying, what is this old furniture, this old belief, this old idea that I keep bringing back up, that I'm willing to let go of? We've always had this power, but it's easy to get lost in conditions. What if you decided right now to throw out the broken furniture of lack and limitation, remove the drab drapes of confusion, and allow in the light of clarity and vision? Let's throw out the small table of not enough and make room for an ever-widening table of plenty, where there is always another chair of inclusion to be drawn forth. I like this analogy. I like the idea of opening up to a greater sense of unity and harmony, first within ourselves, so that we can each walk through this human experience with curiosity and confidence, not dredging up the past or the old furniture that we keep bringing up. Anybody? I've done that. Knowing all the time everything is working for the greater good of all. And it can look pretty bad. And yet, we see over and over again greater good, greater expression coming out of so many areas. Our secret weapon is that we can change our mind. In Science of Mind, this is what we talk about. Change your thinking, change your life. At any moment, that's up to us. That's where our power is. We can choose not to live in or from our old fears and beliefs. When we partner with the divine, when we partner with the beloved, we accelerate the life force that lives within us, within each one of us. And it takes us into the realization that we're never separate, we are never alone, that there is this infinite wisdom and power that is ready and available and willing to support us in everything we do. Yes? Yes. We can never be left outside of spirit, no matter what's going on in our lives. We have to remember that. It is the power of creation between and in each one of us. We've got the power in us to create the life that brings us joy and love and gratitude. And yes, when we watch the news, what is it you want to see in the Ukraine? The people rebuilding, remembering, and being reminded. And here are the last few jokes that these ministers sent. And this was in the bulletins. And this one said, the sermon this morning, Jesus walks on water. The sermon tonight is searching for Jesus. You see how when we start to laugh, we shift this, don't we? We change it. Okay, here's another one. Don't let worry kill you off, let the church help. The associate minister unveiled the church's new tithing campaign slogan last Sunday. I wasn't sure whether I should say this or not. The slogan was, I up my pledge, up yours. I was going to ask Reverend Suzanne, do you think that's okay? Then the last one is, this one I really like. The low self-esteem support group will meet Thursday at 7 p.m. Please use the back door. Those are real, you guys. Thank God it's not our church. We have nobody here with low self-esteem, correct? Correct. Thank you.
Well, we're always using the back door.
Yeah, we do, don't we? Okay. As we all laugh and enjoy humor underneath our ever-changing emotions, and they are. That's how we grow. That's how we move into that next phase of our own being, thoughts and beliefs. There's a permanence beneath everything of our own divine nature. Something true, something everlasting within each and every one of us. This everlasting bliss is the unconditional love of God. And I don't know about you, but when I laugh, I remember that. And sometimes, excuse me, I have to watch YouTube to start laughing. Or Kermit the Frog, or Miss Piggy. The love of God that lives within us is the joy we express. The joy is ours to be and to embody in every moment of every day. It's up to each one of us. And when you start to feel depressed or down or maybe a little off, then stop in that moment and say, okay, what can I listen to? What can I watch? What can I see that's going to lift me in joy? Joy is our strength. Joy is the quality of God in and through and as each one of us. And let us each stay hopeful, faith-filled, lifted up, joyful in our own divine nature. Because you see, joy and laughter sets us free. So I'm going to invite us each to take this moment, this day, whatever works for you, and find your own personal freedom in you, as you. Oh, I lost that, didn't I? Sorry. All right, so let's just take it into prayer. So take a deep breath, knowing and accepting that there's only one life, one power, one all-loving, all-nurturing presence. This is the joy, the fullness of life that lives and breathes within each and every one of us. For we each are the beloved place where God shows up, unified, embraced, holy, holy, perfect, and wholly complete, no matter where we've been or what we have believed in the past. Today, in this moment, we breathe in that divine love, that divine knowingness that with God all things are possible. Everything is always working out for you and for me and for each and every individual in this life, in our lives, and the lives of others. I know and accept where there's a need for a healing, that the miracle working power of God is restoring and renewing each and every one of us physically, wholly, perfectly, and completely. That's what I know to be true. That the divine within us is mighty and powerful. And we call it forth in everything that we do, in all that we think, and all that we are yet to express. And greater than what I can speak in words, I know is already taking place in the mind of God, and I trust this divine mind. And I just allow God to do God's work. And I just release this, my powerful word, into the ever-living, loving law of God that always returns to us, multiplied, magnified, and spilling over. And we just let God do God's work. We let it be so. Together we say, and so it is. Amen.